organization was pretty fortunate because when I came to WEAC, the president he talked about, Fran Fruzen, told me that WEAC they hadn't very much been responsive to helping minorities who were members, and that so Fran Fruzen brought in a issue of the WEAC magazine and gave it to me and said, "There's an article in here you may want to read." And the article essentially traced the WEAC history of staff people, first women, because the staff had been, even though more than half of the teachers all those years were women, they hadn't had a single woman staff person. But before I came to WEAC, I think they had already hired Donna Allman and Arlene Tobias. I think they both worked there before I came there.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Arlene was a writer and Donna was in the field from West Bend.
But they hadn't hired any minorities. I had a conversation with Fran about how the president that George worked with in Beloit, about what he thought would make the best transition that the organization was looking to open some new doors. And what he said to me was, "Morris, if you want to do this, I suggest you go get a person to be your administrative assistant, your personal administrative assistant, who is a minority and who everybody will agree that she's very competent." And so that they can't argue, because they're going to all want to argue about whether she's competent or not. And once you can get that laid aside, they're going to have to start to think about their own personal feelings about why they feel that way. And Kathy, so I went to the Human Relations Committee chairman, and she was a teacher in Madison, and I asked her if she would go find somebody that had impeccable skills, and Kathy was really involved in the Madison Public Schools, and she had, I think, 5 children that they all went to Madison. And so she came back, and this lady came back and told me about Kathy, and I said, "Well, how about if you set up a meeting," because she knew Kathy, and so that we can get to know each other a little. So, which ended up in the organization hiring Kathy. Well, that was the first non-white staff person that the organization, which had been in existence 125 years, they had hired somebody. And, you know, from there, but it was, Wisconsin isn't, Wisconsin, I wouldn't say. I think it's Northern European immigration background wasn't always a positive in getting even college graduates to essentially want to open doors that they should have been pretty willing to open.